The sun was a molten coin in the sky, bathing everything in a fierce, unwavering light. Jack stood beside his machine, the Velocity X. It wasn't just a vehicle, it was an extension of himself. The vibrant reds and deep blacks of its frame weren't a random design choice. They spoke of a fire within him, a refusal to conform to the muted greys and oppressive shadows of the city. Every line of the bike was sharp, aggressive, promising speed and power. And Jax, bathed in that light, felt it all thrumming through him. Neo Viridia, that's what they called this sprawling metropolis, a city of towering chrome and shadowed underbellies, where the rich lived in sky-high penthouses and the poor scavenged in the ruins below. Jax lived in the middle, in a district of faded neon and broken promises. He was 14, old enough to know the city was broken, but young enough to believe he could fix it. His eyes, bright with a rebellious spark, scanned the horizon. Today, the thrill wasn't just about the ride. It was about what lay at the end of it. A distress call, faint but desperate, from the sector known as the Echoes. A part of the city left to rot, where the only sounds were the whispers of the wind and the ghosts of forgotten dreams. A plague was ravaging the Echoes, a strange sickness that turned people into husks, their voices fading into nothingness. The city guard, as usual, had turned a blind eye. Jax wasn't a hero, not in the traditional sense. He was just a kid with a fast bike and a stubborn streak. But he couldn't ignore the call. He had modified the Velocity X himself, scavenging parts from abandoned speeders, pushing its capabilities beyond anything its original designers had imagined. It was fast, agile, and, most importantly, it was his. He swung onto the bike, the cool metal a familiar comfort against his worn leather jacket. The engine purred, a low growl that vibrated through his bones. He adjusted his goggles, the tinted lenses reflecting the harsh sunlight and the determined set of his jaw. He felt no fear, only a fierce resolve. The city stretched before him, a concrete jungle of towering structures and hidden dangers, but Jax was ready. The ride was a blur of speed and adrenaline. He navigated the crowded sky lanes, weaving between lumbering cargo haulers and sleek corporate flyers. He bypassed the heavily patrolled checkpoints, using his knowledge of the city's hidden shortcuts and forgotten tunnels. The Velocity X responded to his every command, a dance of man and machine, a symphony of power and precision. As he entered the Echoes, the city changed. The towering chrome gave way to crumbling concrete, the vibrant neon to flickering, dying lights. The air was thick with the stench of decay and the silence of despair. He saw figures huddled in the shadows, their movements slow and listless, their eyes vacant. The plague. He found the source of the sickness in the heart of the Echoes. An abandoned research facility, its once imposing structure now a crumbling ruin, a broken containment unit leaking a strange, shimmering gas, the source of the plague. The city guard had sealed it off, deemed it too dangerous, and left everyone to die. Jax dismounted, the silence of the Echoes pressing in on him. He wasn't equipped for this. He had no protective gear, no weapons, only his wits and his courage. But he couldn't turn back. He had come too far. He found a way inside, his small frame allowing him to squeeze through a narrow opening in the crumbling wall. Inside, the air was thick with the shimmering gas, making his head spin. He navigated the darkened corridors, his only light the faint glow of his goggles. He found the containment unit, a twisted mass of metal and broken glass. The gas was still leaking out, a silent, deadly cloud. He saw a panel, sparking and broken, the controls for the unit. He had no idea how to fix it, but he had to try. Using his scavenged toolkit, he worked quickly, his fingers flying over the damaged wires and circuits. He didn't understand the science behind it, but he understood the language of machines, the flow of energy, the logic of cause and effect. Sparks flew, illuminating his determined face. He worked for hours, the gas seeping into his lungs, his strength fading. Finally, with a desperate surge of energy, he connected the last wire. The leaking stopped. The shimmering gas began to dissipate. He stumbled out of the facility, weak and exhausted, but alive. And behind him he could hear a sound. A faint sound at first, then growing stronger. A cough, a whisper, a voice. The voices of the echoes returning to life. When he emerged, blinking in the fading sunlight, the people of the echoes were there to meet him. They were weak, but their eyes shone with a newfound hope. They didn't know his name, didn't know where he came from, but they knew what he had done. He had given them back their voices. Jax, the boy with the fast bike, wasn't a hero, not yet, but he had taken the first step. He had carved his own path, not through the sprawling cityscape, but through the darkness of despair. And he had shown them that even in the echoes, hope could still be found. And as he rode off into the setting sun, the vibrant reds and deep blacks of his Velocity X seemed to glow with a different kind of fire. The fire of a promise, the promise of a future worth fighting for.